Okay, take two. Oh yeah, that's a lot better.
How do I sound? Am I good? Am I good?
Yeah, you sound
Everything
great.
looks great.
I can actually hear myself now, though.
Awesome. Okay.
Wow. Jesus Christ, I can't believe that almost happened.
We just got like.
You know how
few
often
minutes
people
into-
have like, yeah, I know, we were in the middle of recording and they just broke in. And honestly, I'm just really happy that you put, what are they called? That little pit with spikes?
Oh, a punji pit.
I didn't even see you install that.
Yeah.
Ah, you're
It was actually for you.
you son of a bitch, you. But
Do you ever hear about during the?
Tony Hawk.
Well, yes, they did have punji pits in Tony Hawk for some reason.
Did you watch that Polygon
Yeah,
video?
I did. But did you ever hear about the punji pits that they used in the Vietnam War?
Yeah, like smeared it with poop and
They
stuff.
would they would smear shit on
the
them.
goal's not to, well, not all the punji traps, the goal wasn't to, we're gonna really talk about punji pits.
This is our podcast. We can talk about whatever we want, and you, the little viewers, you're gonna listen to it
You're gonna
because
like
that's
it.
what you do. I wonder how many people just clicked off. If you're still here, this
I
is
love
for
you.
you.
All right, no, hey, we got, you know what the company said, 2 kisses per episode.
Fuck. Okay,
We're
sorry.
blowing the kissing budget.
You're right.
Yeah, no, the goal isn't to kill them, it's just to decommission them for a few weeks.
But the ones that they smeared with shit would cause them to get infected,
And then
so they
you're
would
dead.
die of infection, which
Damn.
is fucking brutal.
Yeah,
That's a terrible way to go right there.
yeah.
That's
Die
crazy.
from some poop.
So what kind of tactics would you use if you were a guerrilla warfare fighter?
Oh, dude, easy. Okay. I go to a Denny's
I already love where this is going.
before the war. I go to a Denny's. I double down. Okay, no, and this also has to begin in the year 2013.
Okay.
Okay, it's a very specific reason.
Yeah, I'll let you have it.
Denny's 2013.
Okay.
The Council of Sam has just sent me a letter saying that we are going to war with the Derricks.
Is this like every guy named Sam versus every guy
No,
named
not
Derek?
guy, not guy. Every person.
Oh, that's
named
true.
Sam.
There are a lot of girls named
yeah,
Sam.
we are one of the few.
Okay,
that have
then you need
women.
to pick another name that's
Oh,
also...
God.
Because if it's all the Derricks, then it's not going to work.
Well, I guess, man.
You got this.
You're putting me on the spot here.
Okay,
all
I'll
the
let you have-
Maxes. Sam versus Max.
Okay.
All right.
There you go. 3
Cool.
letters.
That's a
It's good.
fucking Nickelodeon show now. And they've come to me, General, to figure out how we're going to weaponize and destroy the Maxes. And so we decided, as a whole council, to take a day trip and go to Denny's in 2013. What's so special about Denny's in 2013, you might ask? They had a special item called the mozzarella grilled cheese.
Oh.
It was 2 grilled cheese
Uh-huh.
stacked on top of each other. In the middle was mozzarella sticks.
Are we talking about food again?
Now give me a minute.
We'll work our way back to Punchy Pits, don't worry.
Well, definitely. And Dragon's Dogma. You got a lot to look forward to this episode.
Oh, yeah.
But you eat those. You feed one to every council member,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And as everybody knows, when you feed a Sam some cheese, you're bound to get a little gassy,
Yeah.
if you please. So
I hate you.
we encapsulate the gas.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Like some mason jars or something?
Sure, whatever you want to put it in.
Okay.
But the second that gas hits anybody else, the SAM cells will enter your body
Oh.
and slowly convert you from the inside out into a SAM. 2 hours in, your voice changes.
So
24 hours in, you're 5'7". You have a hard time with math. You can't use canoes. But damn, do you have a talent for Apex Legends.
yeah, that's about all of your qualities.
That's all of them,
The
all 3
canoes
of
and
them.
everything. You
2
nailed it.
negatives and kind of a positive.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. See, I would get all my guys in like a big circle,
Uh-huh.
dig like a big trench around us, you
Yeah.
know, fill that with spikes, you know, cover them in shit, all that fun stuff,
Just a
right?
punji pit?
It gets better.
Okay.
So they'd see that, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And so they'd all stop at the
Uh-huh.
pit. But what they don't know is that there's guys in the trees with buckets of oil. They dump the oil on them, right? And this is the fun part. Then I'd set them on fire. Then we'd have some guys in fireproof suits. The ones in the trees, they're wearing fireproof suits. They'd come up and they'd push them into the pit. And then you have a flaming pit of dead bodies covered in shit.
Okay, but what if there's no trees?
Give me like 20 minutes.
We plant the trees.
We plant the trees. We make them wait 3 years. How long do trees take to grow?
Depends. Do you have any bone meal?
I could get some.
Like 10 seconds tops. If you've got bone meal.
That's cool. Is that like a Minecraft thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Speaking of Minecraft.
Yeah.
You watched Dragon's Dogma this week.
No, I didn't. I never saw it, actually.
Oh, I saw it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, do you want my review on it?
Are you... Yeah. I want to hear what you thought of it, since you watched every episode.
Yeah, all in one night. Took me about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does the show open?
So, it opens with the dragon walking his dog
Oh, yeah.
with his mom,
His mom.
dragon dog mom, and I haven't seen the show, guys.
What?
I'm embarrassed, okay?
Never seen
look,
it?
I didn't see it. All I did was write the scripts, okay, for the
Oh,
voice
okay.
actors. I just worked on it, okay?
That's fair.
I
Did
didn't
you work
look
on
at-
the game, too?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't. So I was hanging out with Zack Snyder.
Oh,
And
yeah,
we
yeah.
have this fun little bet that we do where it's like, hey, let's write a really beloved franchise into a series but not know any of the source material.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see how far we
the
can
move.
get, you know?
Right.
And
He did pretty well. He
did.
People loved what
did.
he was
People,
doing with it.
Yeah, they really did.
You know, Batman murdering people and
So
all
good.
that stuff.
I think
It was
he
great.
held an LMG in one hand and shot somebody. It was
You know,
that guy
classic Batman
exploded.
stuff.
Yeah, like, you know.
You know, as he does. Love that guy.
Yeah, so I just said, "Hey, Netflix, Dragon's Dogma." And they were like, "That's a great idea." And I was like, "Yeah, pay me."
Nice.
Yep.
So when you wrote it, had you just like not had any sexual activity for like 2 years?
Well, I did
or-
say that, you know, the only way you could be successful on Netflix is to show an outrageous amount of nudity.
Well, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Because show has a lot of tits in it.
Yeah. What was that one show that everybody was like obsessed with for a second because it was like basically porn?
I don't remember what it was called,
But like
but
the
it
opening
literally
scene is,
opened up with
porn,
like
and it was,
straight
like,
up
the
porn.
most uncomfortable
Yeah.
porn I've ever seen in my life.
And the whole movie was basically just a bunch of
There was like two Twizzlers that you were pouring frosting on that were just wrapped up like snakes fighting in a pillowcase.
Fuck, that was so visceral. I'm kind of turned on right now.
Yeah.
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 I mean, you can see how tight my jeans
Hey,
are.
can you
You
grab me
can
some
see
more
it.
Twizzlers?
Yeah, I got you. There's actually Twizzlers.
Yeah, I know. It made me really hankering for the Twizzlers. Can't believe I caught that shit. I didn't even look at you.
That was hot.
Yeah.
For
What
those
else
of
were we
you that
talking about?
don't know, we cut that like 7 times, so it sounded like he caught it on the first try.
It's like, you know the Scott Pilgrim scene where he's waiting for the package from Ramona?
Yeah.
And he like throws it in the trash. It's an actual, like, he actually throws it and makes it.
Oh, really?
It's like an actual effect. It took 38 cuts
Oh my god.
before Michael Cera nailed it. So
That's incredible. Have you seen the behind the scenes of when he like jumps through the window? He just kind of
No.
like when he's like he's not here or like he just left
Yeah.
and he just jumps through the window. Basically like he just like walks past and then the stunt double is there waiting and dude just dives through the fucking window. And
Oh.
you just see Michael Cera just like standing there, like he just walks by and he just
think-
stands there.
do you ever get the vibe that he's kind of a dick?
I could see that. Have you ever seen what was it? It was like some shitty Seth Rogen movie.
The end of the world? or
This is
whatever?
the end. Yeah, did you
Yeah.
ever see that? His scene in that, or like his part in that, or
Is that
whatever.
the Capri Sun?
He's like got a few parts, but there's a scene, since we're talking about like behind the scenes stuff, where like he like slaps Rihanna's ass, and then she like slaps the shit out of him. And when they were filming that scene, apparently he was like, hey, like when we do it, can I slap your ass for real? And she was like, sure, but only if I can slap you like for real. And he was like, all right, totally. And so like they did a couple of takes of that scene, And every time he was like, no, you need to hit me harder. It's not real. You need to hit me harder. And so the take that they actually got, she like slaps the shit out of him and it's really loud. And that's like her actually slapping the shit out of him. And apparently he had to go like lay down in his trailer for like 30 minutes afterwards because she like got him so good.
Damn.
And that's the take they actually used in the movie.
Yeah, I always just get the vibe that he's like, I don't know. And I don't know if it's either because he's like really good at acting. Because anytime like he's in anything and they're like interviewing him, he just has like the I don't care. It's like whatever vibe.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's because he's acting that or if he
Right.
like.
He
Like-
could also just be really fucking weird. Like he could just be like a
that
weird
probably
guy.
is. That's probably it too.
Because like I can say that like a lot of people who are just kind of like awkward, like cripplingly awkward, just they come off kind of rude if you don't know them sometimes.
Did you watch that video of how awkward people take compliments? So I love that shit so much. My favorite kind of comedy.
Yeah.
It's like,
No,
hello,
you just-
fellow awkward people. Today I'm going to show you how to take a compliment. And it's like himself talking to himself, but without glasses. And he's like, hello, your hair looks very. It's like, yes, I know. Just interrupts him.
And then they like both just look at the camera.
Ah, good
It's
stuff.
great. But yeah, so I watched Dragon's Dogma. Long story short, I don't really feel like recapping it that much because like
There's
we
not a
said
lot to recap,
like we said
yeah.
at the beginning, we recorded for about 5 minutes and realized that it was just recording me. I said we should keep going and just do an episode where it's just me talking, but
But we don't want to get canceled.
right.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest here. You're the eye candy. Everyone's coming here for you.
No one has seen us, except for the people that have seen us.
How many of our viewers do you think like
All of
are
them.
local?
I think all of
Even
them.
the ones in Argentina?
Oh yeah. Well, and then we have a few in like we've
No.
got like 2 people in Alaska and one in Hawaii.
I think we have a couple that are like non-local because we've gotten a couple of subscribers, a few subscribers on our YouTube.
Oh holy
that I
shit! We're
don't
at
know.
73 right now.
Nice.
Like as of right now, we're at 73.
Nice.
Everyone
not
who checked out me and Anthony's first episode since Caitlin passed away.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace,
May she
little shorty. Yeah, thank you, because that episode blew up.
Dude, okay, so the last episode we put out is still chilling at like, what is it, like 15 views or something? But the one before that is like 540 something. Like,
Yeah.
love that contrast.
YouTube algorithm is stupid.
Literally. But yeah, I watched Dragon's Dogma. For those of you who don't know, it's an anime based on a video game that no
Is it
one's
3D
ever played.
animated?
It is 3D
I don't like
animated,
that.
and I don't like it. But it's based on one of my favorite games, which is a really weird, kind of stupid
What's the name of
game.
it?
It's called Castle Crashers.
Okay, dude, I don't fuck around with that Castle Crasher shit. That's such a good game.
But no, it's based off of a game. It's called Dragon's Dogma.
I'm just thinking about the joke I said before we fucked up the recording.
Which one?
I'm not gonna retell it, but
Which one was it?
walking the
The dog? That was on this recording.
was it?
Yeah.
Huh. Hey guys, my dump stat's intelligent. My girlfriend calls me. Apparently, she says I'm a himbo.
A himbo.
Do you know what that is?
I don't.
It's a type of protagonist apparently that is really stupid and everything, but really smart with one specific thing.
Okay. What's your one specific thing?
I don't know.
She won't tell you.
She won't tell me.
Oh.
It's my character arc. But some examples that I've seen online are Ant-Man,
Yeah.
Gumball.
Okay.
I
I could see you being an Ant-Man.
just love Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
I watched that video where he's like telling people to wear a mask, and he's like, and then the senator called me and said, "Hey, you're 26," and I didn't correct him.
That's the only video I've ever seen of someone doing the whole like, "Hey, fellow kids" thing, and it was
But, like,
actually funny.
Yeah,
Like-
because usually it's definitely not.
Because you could tell he was almost like making fun of that.
Yeah.
It was like that kind
There
of.
was
meta.
also the video where they interview him, and it's like they're interviewing the cast of Ant-Man too. It's like, do you know Thor's hammer's name? And some chick's like, "Mamia," and Paul's just like, "Jonathan." He's national treasure, dude.
I love
Oh
him.
my
Did you ever see when the interviewer asked him about the Thanos theory?
Missed
Thanos?
opportunity.
Yeah. It's for those that don't know, there was a theory when Infinity War was going to come out,
Yeah,
or
it
was it
Infinity War.
Yeah,
It wasn't even.
or it was like
Endgame wasn't even on the table yet.
yeah, and they were like, or I think it was after Infinity War came out, they were like, Ant-Man could have stopped this whole thing by, like, if Ant-Man was there, he could have stopped it by, basically the idea was that Ant-Man should shrink himself down and crawl up Thanos' ass and then expand inside of him, and it would kill him. And they asked Paul Rudd about it, and he was like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think that would work fantastically. Like,
I love that, man.
they also brought it up to the Russo brothers, and
I saw
they were
that
like
too.
have you guys heard the theory? And they were like, Thanos, yeah, we've heard about it. I think it's solid. Like, I think it's a good theory.
Yeah. I also saw a little figure someone made where it was Ant-Man like on an actual bullet, like in size comparison, and it's like, can you imagine us being stupid enough to try to shoot Ant-Man? I think Ant-Man's on the top of my list of people I wouldn't want to fight.
Yeah,
I think I would, if I had like superhero powers or whatever, I think I would actually rather fight most of the Avengers besides Ant-Man, because that's gonna be a pain in the ass to fight.
yeah.
Dude.
Like, how do you fight that without being able to shrink yourself?
Look like I'm
really?
fighting a ghost, and everybody else is gonna film me, and I'm gonna look stupid.
They're gonna make
and
fun
my
of you,
name
yeah.
is ruined on top of the fact I got beat up by an ant.
Right. Well, and your superhero name is just Michael, anyways, to begin with, which is a terrible superhero name. So I mean,
What the fuck? When was that established?
that's what you told me.
Michael?
Yeah, you said,
What?
You said that if your superhero name was Michael, that they're going to be looking for guys named Michael, so they'll never figure out it's you.
No,
You don't remember that?
That does sound like a me plan.
It,
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good
That's
idea.
pretty solid.
But it's kind
But
of a
we
shit
did
name.
just blast that on a podcast, so
Change it to Jeffrey.
Jonathan.
Jonathan. You can use any name, really.
my
except for Jeffrey, Jonathan, or Michael.
My name's Jonathan. My costume is that I glue a mustache on, put on some glasses and a Starbucks fucking apron. I just complain.
You don't have a mustache. You get like the Nightwing or Robin like mask, but you glue it on like a mustache.
Oh God. Speaking of Nightwing and Robin, we've already expressed how much we like the Bat family.
Yeah.
And I am starting my Nightwing cosplay because I like to dabble in the cosplays every so often when life gets pretty boring and I've got a little bit of money. I try to build something.
Yeah.
And I'm working on a Nightwing right now. And
I usually just bomb a government building.
well, not all of us are as productive as you.
That's true.
For the sake of legal reasons, that was a joke.
That was a joke. For the sake of legal reasons, that was a joke.
And yeah, I wrote a whole ass screenplay for a Nightwing series. And I'm not going to get super into it on this one because I feel like eventually we will have a mini series that we do on this podcast where we get into rewrites and stuff.
Yeah.
But man, screenwriting is a bitch. I just, because like I'm so good at figuring out where it starts and where it ends and the cool parts, but all the little fucking monotonous dialogue parts are...
It's hard. That's the
not
part
fun
that
to
I always
write.
struggle with whenever I try to write anything is like the fine details. Like I can structure a plot like pretty
Yeah.
easily, but
Well,
getting into the details of it, like dialogue and stuff, is hard.
Also figuring out like kind of what timeline and period I wanted this to be. Because with Batman, you have some really big key signature points, right? Batman by himself, Batman and Robin, Batman, Robin, Batgirl. At that point, when you introduce Batgirl, do you have Batman, Robin break up before Batgirl gets shot? Do you have it after? Afterwards, do you introduce Jason? Do you skip Jason and go to Tim? Do you...
I always kind of like the idea of, which like, just if I was structuring timeline how I would want to, I always kind of like the idea of it being Batman and Robin, and then he brings in Batgirl, and then Batgirl gets shot, and that's kind of around the time that Robin is like,
would leave.
I'm going to go do my own thing.
So, in mine, it's very Daredevil inspired, extremely, because Daredevil's a fucking masterpiece of cinema.
Oh, yeah.
And this Robin...
That's the one with the guy with like the iron suit and the...
No, it's the dude
hand
with
things.
the green guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't get a redemption arc ever.
Yeah.
So, my version of Nightwing, when he starts and goes to Bloodhaven, he doesn't even have the Nightwing mantle created yet.
Nice.
He has
He's
an
still
old Robin suit that he's colored black. It's beat up. It's destroyed. It's literally all he has. He doesn't have any gear, no grapple hook, no shurikens, nothing.
Yeah.
He has that and a motorcycle. Him and Bruce have split because Nightwing got shot once, which is, I think, and during one of the comic lines, Nightwing gets shot when he messes up, and Bruce fires him because he got shot after he heals. So it's a fucking dick move, but I like that one a lot
very
more.
accurate
Yeah,
to his
and
character, though.
so I like that, and so I went with that. And so it starts with these. It starts with an arms smuggling. The Penguin is working on getting really high caliber military grade weapons smuggled from Bloodhaven to Gotham. Premise of your first season, right? Yeah. So Cobblepot is the first antagonist.
I like the dynamic
which
between
is good
those two.
Because Nightwing, Cobblepot, there's like this aesthetic to it where it's a lot of blues and grays and whites, and it fits.
And there's just like a certain chemistry between those characters that's kind of interesting too, the way they interact with each other.
And I like that. I like my Cobblepot different than most. My Cobblepot is rich and smart and handsome and like fit and good looking, but he wears kind of like a plague doctor's mask, which is like a penguin looking mask, and that's how he has it. And so Nightwing is infiltrating, tracking, and he's trying to get Cobblepot arrested. Because Cobblepot's such a well-off businessman, he owns all these clubs, owns all these companies, he can constantly dodge accusations and basically doesn't have to take responsibility for all these crimes he's committing.
Right.
It's kind of like a Falcone thing. And in this, it starts with Dick basically tracking them down, and then he's trying to tie Cobblepot to this crime. It's like a docking area. It's very dark outside, very Batman Begins. They're pulling in all these boxes. You're seeing one of the parts I specifically wrote was Cobblepot. He gets this crowbar and he breaks open this cargo box, and you see all these guns, and he picks up this really nice high caliber gun where you can put a street arms pistol into it, and it turns it into an AR basically. And he inspects it, and as he's inspecting it, the only bit of light you get is inside of this big metal shipping container. There's a little bit of moonlight, and for a quick second, if you're paying attention, Dick jumps over it, and so you can see this person jumping, and it covers a little bit of moonlight, so it goes dark for a second, and then Cobblepot gets in his car and leaves. And while he's leaving, he's inspecting this gun and like talking to the driver, and in the back of the windshield, you can just see Dick drop and just take out all these guys really quick at night, and then the scene ends. And then the next time is like, this is like him and he's got this little shitty studio apartment. It's really gross, run down. Like, it's like, not even a bedroom. It's like a room and a kitchen.
Like a studio.
And it has this like triangle roof made of glass. So the rain is always like, you can always see how it's raining. And he just has literally like his shitty suit and like, were some dummies that he practiced martial arts on.
Yeah.
And this news like outlet's going off, and it shows that Cobblepot wasn't even attached to this. And so Dick made the mistake of, now Cobblepot knows that someone's on him. He's going to be less likely to be there. Like, he was able to avoid all those accusations. And while he's training, you can see that he has this bullet wound on his side. I said I'm not going to get into this, and here I am just fucking diving
very
into the
invested
whole thing.
in this.
Let's just get into it, I guess. And so he's got this bullet wound, and so he's like aggressively like hitting this dummy while he's training, and you can kind of see like a flashback of him in this Robin suit. Very New 52. I like the design of that one a lot. But what you notice is that there's blood on his ribs, and the redness of the blood is supposed to contrast with how dark the red of the suit is. And so you just see him holding this blood, and he's kind of laying down, and then the more he thinks about it, he's just getting more angry, and he breaks the dummy. And then out of pure aggression, he's just like fed up, and he starts, you notice he puts a tracker on Cobblepot's car, and he tracks it to a club because Cobblepot has like a monopoly of clubs in Bloodhaven. And so he's like, fuck it, like, let's go back out tonight. And so he opens his, it's like literally like a closet. Like, it's not nice at all. And you see his beat up suit that's like got lots of stitching in it and like repairs that's like self repairs.
Yeah.
And he puts it on, and he goes and he drives his motorcycle and like inspects it and then leaves it. And he goes into this big club, and he goes to the exit. And at first you're like, wow, this guy, he's got it down because he's taking people out like easily.
Yeah.
With like no problems. And as he kind of gets in, he gets to the roof, and you hear like the of the club, and like the strobe lights are going off, and it's very dark. And he opens a room, and he's been caught. There's like 12 guards, and they start lighting him up with these military grade weapons. And it's tearing through his suit. His suit that's supposed to be able to kind of like stop bullets and have resistance to that. It's fucking tearing into him. And then someone like lights a Molotov and throws it at him, and he's forced to jump out this window. And so he jumps out this window, and he's bleeding, and he's trying to use his acrobats to kind of get through some construction parts, and he slips, and he falls through like the roof of this really shitty building. He gets away, but he's heavily injured.
Yeah.
He's like dying, and then like he's like kind of like going unconscious, and you can see a car pull up to this like really run down house, and the windows are boarded up, so the light of the car is like shining through the boards, and Nightwing passes out seeing this car lit up. And that's like the first episode. I'm 4 episodes in. It's been really fun, really challenging.
Yeah.
It just makes me sad that I know it's never going to get produced. But, and then it's a lot of fun. I'm having a good time. Because what I want to do is I want to write 2 seasons of this, and then collaborate with you to do either a Red Hood or a Tim Drake one. And then again, again for the second one, I want to do a Tim, and I want to do a Jason, and have a Dick, and then have them all tie in.
Yeah.
For like basically a Defenders Avengers.
I'd want to do like a very like detective like noir type story for
extremely
Tim.
yeah.
Like, really
so
cool.
for Dick, I want it to be very much like I am by myself. I have to make my own mantle. This is me becoming the hero that I am because I'm not Batman.
Yeah.
That's the point. And then Jason is going to be a revenge story, very Western, gritty, like nasty. And then Tim, very detective noir, not even very action focused until there's parts that are very action packed, but most of it is detective work and stuff like that.
Right.
And then at the end you tie them together to stop a bigger boss.
Yeah, that would be
And that's what I want to do. But so for the second episode, this Rolls Royce is like pulling up, and you see 2 people get out of the car. One person gets out of the car and gets Dick, and Dick is like trying to stay awake and stuff. And then there's the whole process of like him driving and like passing out in the car and bleeding everywhere. And he wakes up to the smell of coffee, and he sees Alfred in his apartment.
Yeah.
Who's got him. And he's like, you should, it runs in the family, like you and Master Bruce always get up before the stitches heal, and it's annoying because I have to clean it up.
Yeah.
And they talk, and then Barbara is actually doing the detective work for Dick while he's passed out, because Dick's been passed out for like 2 days. And they have a lead on Cobblepot, but his club has doubled in size on people, like protection and all this shit, and basically Alfred has kind of brought a bunch of old, outdated gear that Bruce used to use but doesn't use anymore, computers, monitors, stuff like this, and they set up this whole base in Dick's like apartment. It's still like not great equipment, but it's decent, and he's got something. But his suit is still shit, and so Barbara says,
even more shit now.
Yeah, even it's like almost athletic gear at this point. And Barbara's like, while you've been passed out, I got a lead. We found out that the person that makes the blueprints for these weapons are in Bloodhaven. So what they do is someone makes blueprints, sends them off to Gotham, and then Gotham manufactures the weapons and sends it to Bloodhaven. And Penguin is we think he's working with someone else to kind of build like this crime war and take over Bloodhaven like completely. As on the news, Cobblepot's running for like mayor of Bloodhaven. And so Dick's like, this is an issue. And he puts on his gear and he goes out because Barbara's given him a lead on where these blueprints are being made.
Yeah.
And he I got this idea from Titans. I don't know if you've seen anything on the Titans show.
I haven't watched it. I've seen like clips and stuff.
It's pretty good. I have a few little things with it, but for the most part, it's not bad. If you look at it from like, this is someone's own creative spin on it, it's fine. It's pretty good. It's a really good, I like how Dick is in the show. But there's this guy that makes the suits for everybody. Okay. So for my idea was that Cobblepot has like this old ice cream place that no one goes to. And in the back, the freezer isn't actually a freezer. It's a Black Arms place that they're keeping this dude chained up. So kind of like Daredevil, where there was that guy who like made him the suit. Yeah. There's this guy like that, and Dick saves him and brings him back. And then, this guy's like, I have to hide here until something happens to Cobblepot. And Dick's like, that's fine. And so Dick and Alfred go back to Gotham to visit Bruce. And Dick is at this point, because it's been a few months, he talks about how he went to college, flunked out of college because it just like wasn't where he wanted to be. He realized crime fighting's like where he wants to be. And he is going to apologize to Bruce and try to put everything behind him and try to rebuild this thing and try to get some help. Yeah. So at this point, he's still kind of crutching on Batman, even to the point where he's like, it was my fault. I'll take the blame. Batman was right.
Even though
it wasn't. Yeah. And so he goes and he misses Batman completely. Like Batman's already gone out for the night on patrol. And so he looks around and he sees this case with this new Robin suit. And he's like, oh, was that built for me?
Uh-huh.
And Alfred breaks the news of like, no, that's for Master Jason. And Dick's just like, oh. And then you get the full flashback of when he got shot while they were fighting Joker. He fires Dick. He says the Robin mantle is too dangerous for anybody to have. Robin is fired.
Uh-huh.
And so now Dick's like, oh, Robin's not fired. I was fired.
Right,
He's going to get
yeah.
another Robin. And so Dick's like, man, like, fuck this. And he steals a little bit of gear, batarangs, grapple gun, smoke pellets,
Yeah.
and leave. Like, literally just like the Robin belt, and just leaves.
Yeah.
And still hasn't met Jason. He makes his way back. They also have a little exchange while he goes into Dick's room, and like the room is really clean, but it's really dusty. So you notice like Bruce hasn't even gone in there once.
Yeah.
And he talks about like how he failed out of college and stuff, and that he was like, you know, I'm gonna have to do something to make money. And Alfred talks about how he has a trust fund that will pay for his place. That's also how Alfred found the apartment, is because Alfred bought the apartment
Oh, okay.
for him. And so it's his gear. I have it wrapped because I hate that like comic book heroes, like, how do they afford this shit?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Well, Alfred has had this like savings account for Dick once he was adopted, and it's like been building up money,
Right.
and that it's properly secured, and he has enough money. As long as he doesn't buy a bat plane, he's fine.
Yeah.
And so he goes back and he tells Barbara, like, I'll take care of this on my own. I don't need Batman. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And Dick and Barbara have this exchange where she's like, you don't need to take this on. Like, this isn't you. And Dick thinks that she's trying to stop him. And he's like, you can't stop me. I'm going to do this. And she does that. I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just trying to let you know that, like, you don't need to do this alone. And then the dude that builds the suit is like, hey, like, here's your new suit. And so he opens this like black cage, and he gets this suit that's like completely upgraded, and Barbara has her leads, and she gives him like all this gear, and he's like, okay, like, let's fucking go take down Cobblepot. So this is about close to episode 3 at this point.
Yeah.
It's only 4 episodes a season. It's gonna be 3 seasons. And at this point, I want the Justice League to exist in my universe, but I don't want, I don't know how to tie in the Nightwing mantle. And so I saw that Ismahawk had this really old thing where Jason gave Dick like a batarang that was fucked up or something. That's how he got like the idea for the Nightwing logo.
Oh, okay.
I just took Jason out of that. So I said, Dick just out of frustration messed up a batarang, and like looked at it. And the dude's like, yeah, do you like your suit? Any modifications? And then he just shows him the batarang. He's like, let's just add this. And then so it ends. Next episode, Cobblepot's like club. Cobblepot's with Bane. They're talking about like how they have this plan for Cobblepot to run for mayor. He's going to win it over. He's going to put his guys in as the police, and then they're going to have these weapons, and they're just going to fully take over Bloodhaven, and then he'll help Bane take over Gotham. And so I think I'll pick up the rest of it on another episode.
Yeah.
Just leave you guys with a taste, because I'm about mostly done with episode 3. So,
Nice.
but that's what I've been working on so far.
I love it.
Just because creative writing, and it's just like, that's
Get to see the whole thing.
so good, so fun. But I know we've talked about rewriting Marvel movies and
Yeah.
Star Wars. I think the one thing I said I couldn't rewrite was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. I would maybe try to mess with
Just the third one.
even really just the ending of the third one. I
yeah,
feel like it'd be a little
yeah.
bit better. I heard that originally that Aragorn was supposed to like have a sword fight with like the Witch King and everything. Like
That would have been really
make
fucking
sword
cool.
and
But I
everything.
like that the girl fucking.
Yeah.
I do like that part.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, we do have a lot of like
Rewrites.
yeah. I mean, we talk about a lot of DC on this.
It's just been 2 episodes.
But
So I don't even like DC.
when
I
it
just
comes
like,
to Marvel, it's mostly we're talking like Marvel movies here. My biggest gripes kind of lie in like the end game area of things. Not to get into the details of like what I would do, because honestly, this could be a whole episode just for like end game, honestly, which we can do that whenever. But I don't want to get into the details of it, just because that's like probably a good hour-long discussion. But my biggest gripes are with Hulk and Thor in those movies.
and I have a gripe with the Guardians, how they're used.
Yeah.
I like. Never mind. Yeah, another episode.
But
we could also rewrite all of Star Wars. every aspect of
that's
Star
like a
Wars I would like to
series.
rewrite.
That's a whole series right there. And if anything, too, as much as I hate to admit it, that might make for better YouTube videos down the line, because then we can like script them out and
that's true.
stuff and like kind of just talk about it. I don't know. We'll see.
We could script them out and then dissect it on a podcast.
Yeah.
Like just a little mini format, just like, hey,
Yeah.
this, we do like one every other month or something.
Well, because honestly, I've always wanted, ever since I was younger, to kind of start a YouTube channel just like on my own, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, was like rewrites and like in-depth reviews and like just kind of like scripted shit like that. Like for example, I played through The Last of Us 2, which was like a highly controversial game as far as its reception by fans and stuff like that, and I have a lot of thoughts on that game, and I for a while wanted to like actually make like a video essay about it and talk about it. But the reason I kind of ended up not doing that is, one, some stuff happened at work that was during the period where I was basically having to like run that store, and so I didn't really have like any free time or like mental capacity to like give to anything else. And also I started like, I watched a lot of like YouTubers and stuff, and like I started to see a lot of videos after it came out talking about the game. And I didn't see any one video that completely summarized my thoughts on the game, but I saw my thoughts kind of spread out through a lot of videos.
Things, yeah.
And with a lot of stuff, I have like somewhat of an opinion that like not a lot of people hold, and I'm like, cool, I could make a video about this and put it out there, and it wouldn't be the same thing that everyone's saying. But honestly, there were two types of people. There were the people who were standing on the side of the fence of, fuck this game for literally every reason, everything they did was wrong, and I hate everything about this. And then there were the people that were like, I think in a lot of ways this was really good, but it had some flaws. You guys aren't acknowledging those flaws, though. You're mad about the wrong things. Because people were getting mad about really stupid things.
Yeah, they're
like, like the female characters
elite
and like
gamer boys having their issues.
They were saying that it was an SJW propaganda or whatever, and that, just all kinds of stupid shit like that, when really the game was just paced really weird, and that kind of made the focus of the story kind of get lost in the weird pacing.
I can't believe it's the same studio that does Uncharted. Yeah. Because Uncharted, oh my god. If you don't know, Uncharted series is my top 3.
Yeah.
It is so good.
That was The Last of Us for me. And honestly, I mean, as you know, I kind of hated it the first time I played it. Like, I kind of talked about that for a little bit. But the more I kind of thought back on it after the fact, the more I kind of realized that I actually kind of love what they did with it in a lot of ways. It's the reason I wanted to make a video about it is because I legitimately think that game could be not completely fixed, but I think it could be severely improved if you just took it apart like puzzle pieces and put it together in a different way.
Yeah, I was about to ask, maybe this is too big of an extreme, because it's basically what you're just saying. But what do you think if they just flopped it? So how you play as the main
Ellie.
character girl Ellie, and then you play as the other girl, the villain. What if you played as the villain first, and then went to Ellie?
See,
do you think that would?
I think that would make it lose too much steam in the beginning, because people wouldn't be as invested in it. They'd be like, who the fuck is this?
Point, yeah.
So here's literally all I think they should have done. Since I'm not going to make a video about this, I can talk about this. I think that the game was broken up really weird, right? So since you haven't played it, let me kind of break down the structure of it.
I've watched a lot of reviews and people talk about it.
So it starts with the sort of prologue section where you play as Ellie, and which... spoilers for The Last of Us 2. I mean, it's been out for a while, but spoilers for that game.
Maybe just skip 15 minutes or so.
So basically, it starts with the prologue section, which is Ellie and Joel in Jackson, which is the town they arrive at the end of the last game. You play as Ellie. She's 18 now, 18 or 19, I don't remember, but she's like older now. You play as her, you go out on patrol with her girlfriend. It's like really slow and whatever, but it's like interesting. And then, as literally, I'm sure everybody knows, again, this is the biggest spoiler right now. Joel gets attacked by a girl, Abby, the one you play as in the second part of the game, and she fucking kills him, like brutally. And then Ellie has to watch and everything. They're like holding her down.
Yeah.
It's a really brutal scene.
Very Walking Dead.
Yeah, but like actually effective, because like
well, I mean, I think the Walking Dead kill that it mimics the most. Spoilers for The Walking Dead, I guess.
we don't have to spoiler warning that. That's so old.
When Glenn
yeah.
eats it.
See,
but
okay,
they do it in kind of a lot of the same way.
Here's my biggest beef with that, though, was the scene was set up very similarly, but my biggest beef with The Walking Dead in general is that they do shit like that literally just for ratings. They just killed him to get a boost
Because
on the show.
yeah.
And then the
Well,
season after, they do nothing with that. He's
yeah.
just dead.
Well,
Like,
so did you know that like originally in the show, because it was always going to be Glenn in the comics,
mhm,
but in the show they actually killed Maggie,
mhm.
his wife, who's
Yeah.
pregnant and was going to be the leader of their little place.
Right.
They filmed it and everything. I've literally seen it.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine how good that storyline would have gone if they had done Maggie instead.
That was a show that that's a whole nother thing. But so there's a small jump to like, I think like literally like the next day, where Ellie's basically like, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go find the people that did this and I'm gonna kill them. And her girlfriend Dina is like, well, I'm gonna come with you, and she's like, okay. And Tommy, Joel's brother, is basically trying to convince her like not to. But then he ends up going off on his own before them. And so his wife comes and is like, hey, you guys need to go find Tommy. So it's this really weird start of like, you need to find Tommy, but you're also trying to find the people that Tommy is after, and you're like following his trail, and he's like killing some of the people off, and it's like, it's kind of weird, but like it's fine. So basically it's broken down where you play through the first day when you're in Seattle. The whole game takes place in Seattle. You get to Seattle, you play Seattle day one. And then when Seattle day one ends, you have a flashback to when Ellie is like, it's her 15th birthday, and it's her and Joel, and it's really cute and really happy, whatever. But then the Fireflies get brought up, which are like the people from the first game that Joel slaughtered in the end.
Yeah,
And it gets really like,
Yeah.
you start to see that Ellie is really like, she knows that he lied to her at the end of the last game. She knows what he did. And then there's another flashback later where you find out that she like definitely knows. But that's how it's broken up. So you get day one, then a flashback, then day two, then a flashback, then day three, and then it cuts off and switches to Abby after day three, and you play day one flashback, day two flashback, day three, and then it comes together, and then you have the epilogue where you play as Ellie. So it's
I
really
just
weird.
think
So
it's
here's
like a
how
bad idea to like make you play as the character that's royally pissed you off.
Well, okay, here's what they were trying to do though, right? They were trying to kind
Yeah.
of create this. A lot of people say that they were trying to make you feel bad for her, or that they were trying to make you feel sympathy for her because they emphasize her story a lot. But here's what I think they were trying to do. Essentially, what the story boils down to is Ellie is pursuing a revenge quest that we feel is justified as viewers initially because we're on her side about things. However, the reason that those people came and killed Joel was because Joel killed their parents essentially in the last game. So Joel committed an atrocity. He did something really bad. And so look at things from their perspective, right? If you look at things from Abby's perspective, her dad was like this doctor and this really good guy. And then this dude just fucking murders him and everyone he works with. And then he gets to just run off and live and play house and be happy. So she's been on this revenge quest for years trying to find him. And she found him and she killed him. So now Ellie's on a revenge quest to kill her. And it's like, I don't think they're trying to say that Ellie's the bad guy or that Joel's the bad guy even. I think they're trying to kind of bring up the point that
It's a circle.
it's a chicken and egg
Yeah, it's
situation,
an endless
and
circle.
it's an endless circle. And in the end, Ellie does kind of break it, but her pursuing this revenge costs her everything, like
Yeah.
literally everything, and it's
Yeah.
really sad. And I think
Ooh,
I think
I
it was
do
really
like
good.
that.
But here's how I think they should have structured it, right? I think they should have opened with that first flashback of Ellie's where she's like a kid. And I think they should have mashed that and the other two, or the other flashback together, because basically the first flashback is it's her birthday, it's really happy, and then it gets kind of cut off by some shit. You have another flashback where they're like looting a place. They're like going through this hotel to try to get to like a music store to get her some CDs because, you know, like they just do shit like that. And then they get attacked by a bunch of zombies and stuff. I think that should have been the opening and the tutorial of the game. I think it should have opened with that. It should have all been on her birthday. So you go through that portion, then you get to the museum, and it's this really happy, cute stuff. And then it ends with her seeing the Firefly symbol and bringing up how things are like weird between them. And basically, the third flashback is her forcing him to be like, tell me right now the truth, or we're done. And he tells her the truth, and she's like, okay, like, I don't know if I can forgive you for this, but like, you know, I want to try, I guess. So basically, I would have taken all those and kind of mashed them together into one thing, open the game with that, then transition to her when she's like 18 and things are really weird between them. Then you get this brief section where you play as Abby, which does happen in the game. You play as her leading up to killing Joel. And then it would switch back to Ellie. You'd play Day 1 Seattle. But then you would switch back to Abby and get her flashback, which would be, again, a mash together of kind of all of them. So only 2 flashbacks, but they'd be long, you know, pretty long sections. And you see why Abby is doing what she's doing a little earlier on, you know? And so it draws those parallels a little earlier on. And then you get Day 2 Ellie, Day 2 Abby, and then you go back and forth between the 2 of them until they come together, and then you get the prologue. So it's still kind of a lot of jump cutting.
I do like that
but it's a little more cohesive, and it doesn't make things feel as like separate and mashed together.
It's just like building a house on better foundation.
Exactly. So I like what they did with it. I really do. I just
now
think
that when you explain that, because again, I had only like watched little tidbits. I don't care for Last of Us. It's not my game. I don't think it's bad at all.
I love that scrappy horror post-apocalyptic.
No,
shit.
me
It's
too.
great.
I just I'm an impatient man. So when I tried playing the first one, I didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not something I can help. So I like it when you explain it to me. On the other side of the gaming world, Star Wars Squadrons is coming out, and I'm really excited. EA is almost a band named in my household.
Yeah.
They fucked over so many of my favorite properties.
Oh yeah.
Battlefront 2.
Really shit company.
Yeah, Battlefront 2 had a redemption story.
It really did.
When it came out, I remember I played it right when like day one, and I hated it. Hated how it controlled. Hated how it looked. Hated the loot box system
for some reason. I don't remember why. I had a reason, but that was a long time ago. I don't remember why. I knew it was going to be bad too, but I was like,
yeah,
fuck it,
was not a fan. And they fixed it. They took the loot boxes out, a lot of microtransactions out.
And it's still not even really my type of game, but it's a good game.
It's a good game. It's solid. I've put a lot of hours into it.
Yeah, it's definitely more your
you
type
can
of game,
play
for sure.
with friends
Uh-huh.
and just go through where it's like you, 3 other friends, and you're fighting AI.
Yeah, I do like that.
So
like the survival modes
we would
and
literally just replay the Clone Wars with my friends.
Yeah.
And it was fun. My beef was that I either had to play the Clone Wars or I had to play like the sequels. And
you want like Empire.
At this time, I liked the sequels. Where I stand now,
I like the first 2.
I like the first the first one, Force Awakens, pretty half and half.
Yeah.
The second one, I like the second one a lot.
Yeah.
The third one of my worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
I think it's the worst Star Wars movie out of all of them.
I think it's literally the worst movies I've ever seen.
I think it's worse than The Phantom Menace.
Agreed.
Legitimately.
I would actually kind of think I'd rather... I can't even say it. I really can only watch the last 10 minutes of that movie, Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
But anyway...
I would rather sit down and watch the entirety of The Phantom Menace than The Rise of Skywalker.
Actually, I think I would too. Now that I really think about it.
Well,
I remember sitting
to be
through Rise of
fair-
Skywalker thinking, okay, when are we going to get to the good part?
Yes.
When am I going to be invested?
And every like big like reveal or
I
like
was so
moment,
let down.
I literally rolled my eyes
Me too.
constantly.
I laughed
Yeah.
out loud. I literally went, oh my fucking
There
God.
was one point where I went, "Oh, so this is what they're doing?"
I remember the opening lines where
Palpatine is alive.
I out loud went, dude, what the fuck? You can't just do that.
Yeah.
I hated it. And I hated they have an interview with Daisy Ridley
Oh my god.
where she's like, yes, they told me at one point it was Obi-Wan was the dad. And then they scrapped that and said it was nobody. And then went with Obi-Wan again. And then JJ
Palpatine.
just said, you know what? It's Palpatine.
Yeah. That's so lazy.
And I like that all the actors that were in the sequels don't like the sequels. Anytime they get interviewed, all of them try to redirect it.
You know who I love?
John
Boyega.
Me too.
His Twitter shit, because
He's right.
was-
We stand John.
Well, and he was under like, what's the word? Not embargo, maybe, I don't know. He wasn't allowed to like post certain things on Twitter, not even just relating to the movies though. They were under contract that they couldn't like post anything inappropriate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he turned into this huge shit poster after he got out of that As soon as Rise of Skywalker was out and over with, his entire Twitter presence just got so
how do you
funny.
just like? I don't even remember what my original rant was. It was about games. I'm sure I was gonna talk about how I'm excited about a Star Wars game, but now I'm gonna rant about this shit. How do you put him as the poster child with a fucking lightsaber and then just dump the character?
Literally. Well, and okay, when The Force Awakens came out, I was really good friends with this guy. We were friends for years, and he was really excited to have a black protagonist in Star Wars, like a black Jedi protagonist.
Yeah. And I liked his arc so much.
Yeah, he's a good character.
Such a good
and they
character.
could have done something so cool with him. But he literally felt like so like robbed by it, I guess, because like he was so excited about it, and then suddenly it was just like, oh, it's actually this other character is the Jedi, and he's gonna get sidelined for two movies now.
And not only that, they used Finn. They gave him 3 love interests. They said, fuck it, sideline them, and just give him a love interest every movie.
Yeah.
Hated it so much.
Yeah.
Don't like... I predicted the Kylo ending.
I don't like how they did that.
I predicted it as kind of to an extent. It's like if I said I wanted a car for my birthday and you gave me a Hot Wheel.
Yeah.
It was like, technically it's what I asked for, but
Wasn't
not in
good.
any way of what I wanted.
It didn't feel genuine or earned
at all.
or anything.
And we'll do a rewrite on this.
Definitely.
We'll have to, because I have so many opinions.
Definitely.
But anyway, so EA, they added, because I didn't really want to play the sequel parts.
Yeah.
I liked the clone parts, but they added lots of free updates. It was
Right.
lots of, they added like the Rogue One map. You could play through Rogue One. They added like a timeline where it was like classic Star Wars, which is my favorite period of Star Wars. It has this, and I did not ever care for classic Star Wars. I was actually, when I was a kid, I was a prequels fan.
Yeah.
It was
Same,
more appealing
actually.
to me. I watched a documentary on Disney Plus around the time Mandalorian came out about how they made Star Wars and the process for the first 3 Star Wars.
Yeah.
I fell in love after I watched that.
Yeah.
The 80s effects and just how practical it was, and it has this charm that is really appealing to me now.
Well, and I definitely got more into the original trilogy when I got a little bit older too, because when you're a kid, it's just there's not as much spectacle.
Yeah.
You know, there's not as many like cool, overly choreographed lightsaber fights.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
shit like that. You know, like I was looking for something different out of it because I was a kid. You know, but now that I'm older, I definitely prefer the original trilogy because I like, you know, I'm looking for more like cohesive storytelling and shit like that, you know, which honestly, if we're gonna be real here, even the original trilogy is kind of kind of
you can tell they make changes as they're going, and I hate that. But
you know what the original ending to Return of the Jedi was gonna be, right?
Luke, it was evil.
Luke was gonna kill Darth Vader, put on his helmet, look at the camera, and say, "Now I'm Vader," and then the credits were gonna roll.
Gross.
Yeah. And then I think it was like Steven Spielberg was like, "No, George, you can't do that. That's awful and stupid. Like, no."
George isn't a great writer.
He's a really
I'm gonna
bad
say
writer.
it. And you know what? You could say that, like, well, you can only say about how you would make it better because he laid the foundation down.
Hindsight's
No,
20/20,
no.
whatever.
You give me that money, and you put me in his chair in that time period, I could make the exact same goddamn thing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just because people go like, "Oh, it's
He
such
was
this
the first.
huge thing." No, it's not. You just had you had one fucking boomer who did it first. And all these adults are like, "Wow, the imagination's so crazy."
Yeah.
No, dude, anyone under 20 has the imagination to make that.
Yeah, honestly. Like, I'll give him credit. He's very good at world building, and what he made was really incredible.
And I like you as a person, George.
Yeah, definitely. But he's not a
your
very good
writing's not
writer,
very good,
especially when it comes to dialogue, which he's admitted himself.
Yeah,
you know?
and the actors would make fun of it too. I remember I've seen lots of parts
Yeah.
where Luke and Han and all of them would say a line stupid on purpose to piss George off.
Yeah.
It'd be a
or
game
where
for them. Yeah.
I know Harrison Ford a lot of the time would just refuse to do certain lines because they were bad.
And Harrison has arguably the best lines.
Yeah. Well, and I think a big part of that is
His
because he
improv,
took charge on it a lot. He was a little bit more of a experienced actor at that point than like Mark Hamill and stuff was, and so you can tell by the way that, because Mark Hamill is a good actor, but you can tell by the way he's acting in the original trilogy that
like one of his first
he's
things.
and he's kind of just doing what George tells him to.
Yeah.
Whereas Harrison Ford took his
Made
own
it his thing.
lead on it, and that's why we got such a good
Yeah,
performance
so-
there.
Anyway, EA added that stuff, and it
sorry.
made the game better. And I played it a lot. My favorite part of Star Wars are the dogfights, the ships, the pilots.
Yeah.
It's the bread and the butter to me. Everyone likes the Jedis and the Siths, which, yeah, fuck with it. I
Another
like
wasted
it.
character was Poe Dameron.
Oh god, yeah, so
I would
wasted.
have loved
My
to have
favorite,
seen more of him.
one of my favorites. I always liked the Mandalorian stuff growing up, which when we were growing up wasn't a popular thing at all.
Yeah.
Now it is extremely popular, which the Mandalorian show deserves to be as popular as it is because it's
Definitely.
amazing. It's great. But I like the pilots, like X-Wing pilots, TIE pilots, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they're coming out with this game. It literally drops next week, and it is pilot focused. Everything I want it to be, dogfights, nitty gritty. Like it is fully playable in VR. So you can straight up pilot the whole thing, and
throttle.
you can attach a throttle controller.
I watched that video.
And I was like, you can fucking what? So I have an X-Wing cosplay I built.
You
and
can
so
literally like get a fucking VR headset and the throttle and sit
with
in
this
your
chair. I'm gonna
and, like,
fucking, oh my god.
and you can actually rotate in the chair, so it's perfect.
Oh my
like,
god, it's gonna be a blast. That's a good chunk of change for that setup though, because the VR, the headset. I think all you need is the headset though.
Yeah,
Once
once
you
you have it,
120 and the
good.
throttle's 80, but like.
well,
oh,
and
man.
if you get a VR headset, we can get a lot
Use
of
it for a
good,
lot of
stuff
things.
out of that too.
Yeah.
I want to play Blade and Sorcery so bad.
Oh, me too.
So bad.
Me too. Is Blade and Sorcery on PS4 though?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
I'm not sure.
I'm honestly surprised PS4 VR is still getting support.
Yeah.
It kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, definitely.
But oh man, yeah, I'm really excited for that. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna play it on the channel.
Yeah, probably
It doesn't
not.
seem
I don't
like a
think it would be a
channel
very
game.
good like channel
So
game.
sorry if you wanted that, but we have lots of other great stuff
I
coming
mean,
up.
if we get a good amount of people
asking for
asking
it,
for it, then
obviously
yeah.
we
But
will,
I don't think
I
anybody's
don't
even
think that's
listening
gonna be
right
a,
now.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be a big.
I
thing.
think that out of all those views, how many? Okay, out of all the views we have, how many do you
most
think
of them
actually
lasted
get to the end?
7 minutes.
Yeah. So at this point, we're just talking.
You're
to the
probably
boy.
out. Yeah, or it's like I know like 2 or 3 people
like
off the
one
top of my
guy.
head that really listens to it.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
I just want to say,
thank
love you.
dude. The Kiss budget, you're
You know what?
over.
Probably couldn't hear that anyways. Oh, since nobody's listening, I got to tell you about something too. So in the last episode, I told you about foot pussy.
Uh-huh.
And I got home that night, and Caitlin was like, "How did it go?" And I was like, "Oh, like pretty good." I told him about foot pussy, and she was like, "Did you tell him about the vajankle?" And I said, "What's the vajankle?" Which apparently she's told me about this before, but I didn't fucking remember it. Can you guess what it is? Do you want to take a crack at it?
Say the word again.
Vajankle.
I don't want to take a crack at this.
Just give me your best guess.
When someone puts their ankles together and you just go nuts in between the ankles.
It's a product.
No.
It's a product. It's essentially a pocket pussy, like a fleshlight that's shaped like a foot, but has a vagina on the ankle. And
On the ankle?
on the ankle,
So like from the side?
no, like it's like a cut off foot with a vagina on the top.
Oh, on the top. I was like from the side. I was like, what the fuck does that do? Like if it's
I thought it was on the side. Oh, the top, that's fine, but the side, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Who fucks the side of an ankle?
Who fucks the inside of a foot? You're like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, but that's a product. It's a real product.
I was telling
These foot fetish dudes need to be stopped.
I was telling my significant other about girls. I'm sorry that you guys have gnarly cramps and it really hurts. Most of the girls I know are like out of commission when they hit their periods.
Yeah.
Like can't function as a person. And my girlfriend was like, man, having a dick must be really easy. And I was like, it is. But the downside to having a dick is no one likes men. And she was like, what? And I was like, no one likes men. No one. Men don't even like men. Every problem America has is because a man made that problem. Every problem you have being a woman is because a man is being an asshole to you and made it unfair.
Yeah.
No one likes men. We'd be better off without them.
It's a good point.
Now you're saying, well, if you're sitting there in the chair listening to this podcast and you're saying, not me. I'm a good man.
I'm a good
I'm
boy.
not. I'm one of the rare good ones. Shut the fuck up. Sit down. You're in the majority. You're with all of us, man. The classroom's getting punished. You're a part of it, okay?
Yeah.
We all
I'll take
suck.
that. I'll take that L.
I'll take the L. That's how it is. So you know what? You know what? Let's just, I'm over it. You and me,
Yeah.
bathroom. I've got a lot of aggression. Let's just go take care of it.
Are we gonna do the thing?
Let's go.
Are we gonna do that
Yeah.
thing that I've been asking?
Yeah, the one you've been at.